What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. This is Cryptic CW here in the flesh down yonder. What's going on? So today we're going to be taking a look at some beginner tips, updating the previous video now that we have a new meta with sites and everything. So we're going to be jumping over to the attackers just so I can show you guys the different sites and stuff among the different attackers. It's easiest just to show you here on this screen so I can navigate between the different operators quicker. So for example, we got Thermite. They used to have the 1.5 and the 2.5 and the 2.0, but it doesn't matter what they had because now we are in the present meta. They have a magnified A, which is what the 1.5 used to be. However, it is a different magnification level now. I personally do not like it. It looks a little Robloxy, a little pixelated. So I recommend running the magnified B, and anybody that has played this game way back in the day knows that this ACOG is what it used to be. Just this was the one. Simple as that. And then other than that, it was down here, all these one-time scopes of different variations. I recommend running the magnified B if you are on a weapon that does not have the scoped, which will not be on the attacker side. All attackers have at least one gun that has a magnified on it that you can pop a magnified B onto. But if you're on an operator on defense that does not have one, such as Legion, it is kind of a personal preference. I recommend the Hollow B. I feel like ever since this meta, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit smoother than it used to be. I don't know if they changed anything or not, or if it's just a placebo, but I recommend the Hollow B. Another recommendation I do have would be the Reflex B if you're not really rocking with that one. Otherwise, just try out the ones that you guys feel comfortable with for the one times. However, if you have the magnified available, like on Doc for example, I highly recommend running the magnified B. The old 2x scope is still in the game technically, it's just a different magnification once again. It is on Dokkaebi, so if we go into our loadout here and we take a look at this, I'm over on my alt, so all my classes are all messed up. But if we go down, we have magnifying, but a part of the magnifying, we have the telescopic. So the magnified are medium, and then the telescopic is high, so I believe it is a 3x or a 3.5 zoom, and that will bring you your old 2.5 or 2x. However, it is only available on like the DMRs, like Dokkaebi's DMR, for example. I still recommend running the magnified B most of the time just because of the close quarter situationals that you could get yourself into later in the round after the bomb goes down. Now hopping over to another attachment on your primary, the laser has been changed. It still shows to your enemy. However, this now reduces the time that it takes to aim down the sights. You see it up here in the top right. So I highly recommend running that and being aware of where you're putting your laser when you hear someone in the room next to you. If you're approaching a doorway, just don't let them see that. So it'll affect your centering a little bit, but as long as you're aware of that, it really helps win those quick ones where if they have it, they're gonna be on your head quicker than you're on their head. Simple as that. Now those are some attachment tips. Now we're gonna hop over to your settings. These are a few just general settings that I highly recommend. It helps incredibly. So the first ones that I recommend is going over to accessibility, go down to screen shake intensity and turn it off and then apply. This will limit the amount your screen shakes if someone throws an explosive near you or a wall blows up, which we all know in Siege happens quite often. Now once you have that turned to off, you're going to go over to controls. You're going to scroll down to gadget deployment, turn that to advanced. Go down one to drone deployment, turn that to advanced, and then turn leaning behavior to alternate and apply. The leaning behavior being turned to alternate will allow you to stay leaned when you're un-ADS'd. Drone deployment being on advanced will allow you to throw your drone without going into your drone immediately, so you can kind of bait people with it and not get rushed right as they hear you throw your drone. The gadget deployment being turned to advanced will allow you to get out of your animation rather than be stuck in it if someone starts to shoot at you while you're placing a bulletproof camera on the wall or a cap can on a doorway. When playing on PS5, I recommend turning your trigger effect to disabled if you want to play better and have a less realistic experience, because the trigger effect will feel different every weapon with different resistances, so I recommend turning that off. I also recommend going over to general, going down to drone after prep and turning that to semi-automatic, so you only exit your drone automatically when the drone sequence ends when you're not controlling it. That way if you're running from someone, it won't just kick you off your drone and they get a free drone kill. But that way you have to be aware of the time, otherwise you could accidentally drone all the way into the action phase. Now in your settings, I also recommend scrolling down and turning your left stick dead zone and your right stick dead zone down to about 6. You can go as low as 5, but any lower than that, you'll probably start to get stick drift. And if you don't have a brand new controller, even 6 might give you a little bit, but I wouldn't go any higher than 10. This will make your sticks a little bit more reactive to your movements. It might feel a little bit quicker. I also recommend setting these down to 5 to reduce the amount of time that it takes to ADS down and to pull the trigger on your weapon.